Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of Sri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. Dear student, we are in a continuation of the chapter that is Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Dear student, we have understood about allelic gene interaction in the form of the previous classes where we have studied the incomplete dominance, codominance, multiple allelism, lethal gene, and pleiotropy. Today we are going to talk about interaction of non-allelic gene interaction. So non-allelic gene interaction means we are talking about here different genes. When we are talking about allele, we refer to it to the only single gene. But here when we refer a non-allelic means different gene interaction of different gene coding for same character or same phenotype, then it comes under a non-allele because the alleles of two different genes will be considered as a non-allele. Suppose this is a one chromosome pair and this is another chromosome pair. If here A gene is present and here B gene is small a is present, so then this A and small a are allele. But if here B gene is present and here small b is present, the B and small b are alleles, but capital B and capital A if we compare and small a and small b or small a capital B and capital A B capital A small b, if we compare this two genes which are present on the different chromosome, then they will be referred as a non-allele. These are the particular, if we consider this, okay, or this both will be considered as a non-allele. Okay. Now there are different characters for which this gene interaction has been observed. Initially, we are going to talk about how the two different genes or non-alleles are going to interact, and then at last we will talk about multiple gene interaction as well. So when we talk about two gene interaction, in this first type of gene which we are going to study in non-allelic gene interaction, that is a complementary gene interaction. What it is? Complementary gene interaction. Now, to understand a complementary gene interaction, here we take an example. And if we take an example for the complementary gene interaction, an example which is taken here to understand this character complementary gene interaction, that is flower color in sweet pea. Sweet pea is nothing but Lathyrus odoratus, and this Lathyrus odoratus is a sweet pea. Now, if we talk about a flower color in the Lathyrus odoratus or sweet pea, the two flower color can be obtained. They can be colored or they can be colorless. Means here, if they are colored, usually if we can say here we write a purple color, and for colorless condition we write here white color actually. Okay, so purple flower color is can be purple or a white. This purple is dominant trait and this white is the recessive trait. Okay, now if we talk about the particular this dominant trait that is purple, For purple color of flower, there is a need of synthesis of purple pigment known as anthocyanin. And in this purple color, if we take, or if we talk about the synthesis of anthocyanin pigment, then initially a raw material is used. This raw material get converted into a chromazone, and this chromazone get converted into anthocyanin pigment. For this, for the synthesis of this raw material to chromosome, there is a need of enzyme. And here also there is a need of enzyme. For this enzyme, there is a gene P is responsible, and for this enzyme, gene C is responsible. Sorry, and here it is gene C is responsible, and here gene P is responsible. So if gene C is in dominant form in homozygous or heterozygous condition, then chromosome will be produced. And along with if dominant C, dominant P will be there, then and then only this enzyme will be produced. If this enzyme is produced, both enzyme will be functional, then and then only raw material get converted into anthocyanin. Out of these two, if any one is recessive or if both are recessive, then anthocyanin pigment will not be produced. And if anthocyanin pigment is not going to be produced, the phenotype will be a white. So if we make a cross for this, then we can understand that we are going to take a parent, that is capital C, capital C, capital P, capital P. We are taking a parent C. What I told, if both are dominant, it is a heterozygous condition. Okay, that is a both are in homozygous condition. But C gene and P gene, if C gene is dominant, then chromosome is going to be produced, but P is recessive, so anthocyanin is not going to be produced. So this will show a flower color that is white. Here C is recessive, so chromosome will be not produced, and another P is dominant. But if chromosome is not getting produced, then and there is no chance of anthocyanin. So here it is also white. When we make a cross, then here capital C and small p gamete will be produced. Here gamete will be capital C and small p. And here gamete will be small c and capital P. If we make a fusion of these two, then F1 progeny will be produced, that having a capital C, small c, capital P, small p. Now this C is dominant in heterozygous and P is dominant in heterozygous. Both genes are dominant, are possible to show the dominant trait. Means if capital C is there, then enzyme C will be produced and the chromosome will synthesize occur. Further, P gene is dominant, so the anthocyanin will be produced. And when anthocyanin will be produced, this is going to give a purple color. So what is the phenotype of this? Purple. Now this F1 plant is going to self-fertilize for the F2 generation. And if it is self-fertilized, we are taking this as a male and this is a female plant. The capital C, small c, capital P, and capital C, small p, capital P, small p. In both this, the four types of gamete are going to produce. If we talk about the gametes of this male plant, the capital C, capital P, capital C, small p, small c, capital P, small c, small p. Again, crossing with the same, having the same gamete, that is capital C, capital P, capital C, small p, small c, capital P, small c, small p. If we make a cross like that too, then by crossing of this with this one, this genotype will be opposite. Then this one, this one, this one. Okay, when we are crossing with this four, then this four genotype will be obtained. When we are crossing with this one, then this four genotype will be obtained. And again, lastly, we are crossing the small c, small p with the all this one, then this particular genotype will be obtained. Now, if you talk about phenotype, then you can see This capital C, capital B, both are in dominant, so purple color will be obtained. Here C and P are dominant, so here also purple color. Here both when are dominant, there is a purple color. Okay. The remaining, if you talk, they are having a one recessive gene in both homozygous condition. So if any one is recessive, then you can see they are going to produce white color. So what this shows, when both C and P gene are present in dominant case, then and then only anthocyanin pigment will be synthesized, and then only purple color will be obtained. So what is the necessary? The production of both the activity of both the gene and production of both the enzyme responsible for the synthesis of purple color at last by the anthocyanin pigment. Okay, means both are complementing each other. C and P both are complementary to each other. Both are helping each other. If both are not possible or any one is absent, then the phenotype will be lost. So if we see here, then if we talk about phenotypic ratio, then we come to know that phenotype are purple is to white. Purple are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And white are 7. So 9:7 will be the phenotypic ratio of a complementary gene interaction. The genotypic ratios remains same as a dihybrid cross, that is 1:2:1, 2:4:2, and 1:2:1, which we have discussed. But phenotypic ratio changes. So in dihybrid cross, what is that? What is the difference between two gene interaction in dihybrid cross? In dihybrid cross, two genes were there and two character was there. But here, two different genes are there like C and E, but character is only one, that is the flower color in the sweet pea. So this way, the phenotypic ratio changes, but the phenotypic ratio remains same. Okay. So now, after this, we are going to talk about another gene interaction. And another gene interaction are the duplicate gene interaction. So let's understand what is duplicate gene interaction. Now, duplicate gene interaction means here also we are going to take two genes which are coding for the one character. What duplicate gene says? Duplicate gene says that if both the genes are present in dominant case, then they will produce a dominant trait. Out of these two, if any one is present, then also they will produce a dominant trait. If both are in recessive, then and then only they will produce a what recessive trait. And it was studied in case of the example, if we take, then the example in which the duplicate gene interaction was studied, that is fruit shape in capsula. Fruit shape in Capsula bursa pistol. This Capsula bursa pastoris is also known as shepherd purse. Now in this fruit shape, there are two types of fruit shape are seen. One is triangular and another one is the top shape. Triangular is a dominant trait and top shape is the recessive trait. If we talk about this two traits, see triangular means the shape of capsule or capsule is the fruit. And if it is like this, then it is known as top shape or elongated. So what duplicate gene says, if both the genes are in a dominant condition, or if out of these two genes, if any one is in a dominant condition, then it is going to produce a triangular dominant trait. Means if we write both, if we take here the particular gene that is A and B, if all are dominant, then the particular fruit shape will be triangular. If out of two gene any one is dominant, then also triangular, both are will be recessive, then only the particular top shape will be obtained. So if we see this condition in here, Shepherd plus plant seed capsule, capsule is the fruit, occurring two shape, that is a triangular and ovoid. Ovoid means nothing but a what? A elongated or top shape. So top shape or ovoid shape seed capsule occurs when both the gene are present in homozygous recessive condition. Now let's talk about the cross. So what is here done? A triangular plant is taken and the gametes of this particular plant is taken. This triangular is capital A, capital A, capital B, homozygous, and ovoid, or we can say top shaped, that is small a, small a, small b, small b. The gametes which are obtained from this, that is capital A, capital B, and the gametes here which is obtained, that is small a, small b. When a cross is made, the offspring will be capital A, small a, capital B, small b, that is triangular, and because both are dominant here. Now, when we make a selfing of capital A, small a, capital B, small b, which having a capital A and capital B in dominant form, so triangular shape is obtained. If we make a selfing of this capital A, small a, capital B triangular with the capital A, small a, capital B, small b triangular, then this F2 generation will be obtained such like. If we take a male gamete of this particular plant, then capital A, capital B, capital A, small b, small a, capital B, small b, and these gametes of this one are here. That is also capital A, capital B, capital A, small b, capital B, and small b. Now, if we make a cross of this gamete with this four, and this four genotype will be obtained, then this second gamete with this four, then this four genotype will be obtained. Then smallest capital B when processed with all these four gametes, this genotype are going to be produced, and the smallest small b are produced, and they get with this all four, so this type of zygote will be obtained. Now, when we see the F2 generation, here you can see when any one is dominant or both are dominant, the triangular shape will be obtained. See, here both capital A, capital B, capital A, capital B, capital A, capital B, all are dominant, either in homo or heterozygous condition. But here you can see the only A is dominant, B is recessive, then also it is producing triangular because these both genes are acting as a duplicate of each other. If either A is present in dominant form or either B is present in dominant form, that is going to be produced triangular. If both are in dominant form, then also it is going to be produced a dominant character trait, that is a triangular. But if when both the genes get recessive, then they are not duplicating each other, so they is producing the top shape or triangle or oval shape. So if we talk about a summary, then 50 out of 16 are triangular and 1:1 out of 16 are oval or top shape. So if we talk about a phenotypic ratio, then the phenotypic ratio is 15:1 of triangular and top or oval shape. Okay, so here phenotypic ratios get changed in the duplicate gene interaction. Okay, so now let's talk about the supplementary gene interaction. Now, if you talk about supplementary gene interaction, okay, then here we are going to discuss supplementation. Okay, so let's understand by the example. If we take an example for this, an example for it is coat color in mice. If we talk about coat color in mice, the three types of coat color are obtained. Okay, it is agouti, black, and albino. Okay, it is agouti, black, and albino. Now, if you talk about a supplementary gene interaction, then for this coat color in mice, two genes are responsible, that is gene A and gene B. It is known that if both A and B gene are in a dominant case, then that is going to produce a agouti. But if that any one is recessive, then it is going to produce albino. And if okay, it is going to produce a what? Albino if both are recessive or any one is recessive. So A is responsible for actually albino, capital B is responsible for the black, but when both are in a combination and then they supplement each other and produce a agouti, and when both are recessive, then also they are going to produce a albino. Okay, so if we talk about this and make a cross, then if we take a parent, then we come to know that there is a capital A, capital A, capital B, and small a, small a, small b, small b. Capital A, capital B phenotype is agouti, and here it is a albino, means it is too much fat. If we talk about gametes, the capital A and capital B gametes are going to be produced here. Small a, small b gamete will be there. If you make a F1 offspring, then here it is going to be capital A small a, capital B small b. Now both are heterozygous and dominant, so it is going to produce what? Agouti. And if you carry out a selfing of this, then for F2 generation, then the capital A small a, capital B small b is going to cross the capital A small a, capital B small b. Okay, and this cross or selfing of F1 is going to produce a F2 generation. Now for F2 generation, we need to note down all the particular gametes. Okay, now see, if I take it as a male and it as a female, the gametes are going to be like this. Male gametes are going to be like this: capital A, capital B, capital A small b, small a capital B, and small a small b. These are the four gametes which are produced by the male, and female also produce four gametes like capital A, capital B, capital A small a capital B, and small a small b. Now if you make a cross, this capital A, capital B, and it is going to be capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital A, capital A, capital B, small b, capital A, small a, capital B, capital A, small a, capital B, small b. This is going to be capital A, small a, capital B, small b, capital A, small a, capital B, small b, capital A, small b, capital B, small b. Here this is going to be capital A, capital B, small b, capital A, small a, capital B, capital A, small b, small b. Here small a, capital B. Here capital A, small b, small b. Small a, capital B, small b. Capital A, small b, small b. Small a, capital B, small b. Small a, small b, small b. These all offsprings are going to be produced in F2 generation. Now, if we write a phenotype of this, if both are particularly C, If you want to write a phenotype, then if you take any one is dominant, either capital A is dominant or small capital B is dominant, any one of this is dominant and others are recessive, then that is particularly, if we in that condition, if we say when capital A is dominant and B is recessive, that is going to be of albino. Okay. When there is a small a, small b, then it is also going to be albino. This is also going to be albino. This is going to be also be albino. Why this all are albino? Actually, because only A is particularly expressing. Okay. Now B is particularly what? A black. B is black. If B is black, then even B is only dominant, then it is going to be produce a black. Because B gene is responsible for black color. Okay. Now, when this A is supplemented by the B, when both are dominant, in that case, if you see, then you will see that that is going to produce a particularly a cortical. So here we write a cortical. So agouti is produced only when both A and B supplement each other. Okay, so if we write that phenotypic ratio, supplementary gene, then it is agouti is to black is to albino, and it produced as a 9 is to 3 is to 4. Okay, so this is supplementary gene. So for agouti, both A and B supplement each other, then and then only agouti will be produced. So that is supplementary gene interaction. Next, after supplementary gene interaction, we are going to talk about epistasis. Now, if you talk about epistasis, first we need to understand what is epistasis. Now, it is very important to understand epistasis. And in epistasis, what happens? One gene mask or suppress the expression of other non-allelic gene. Okay, so here one gene suppresses the expression of the other non-allelic gene. Dear students, please do not get confused with the dominant as a epistasis. Dominant is the allelic interaction, means suppose capital T and small t are the two alleles. And capital T can be dominant over the small t only. Capital T cannot be dominant over the capital R. But here in epistasis, if two different genes are there, like capital T and capital R, and if capital T is getting dominant over the or suppressing the effect of capital R, then we can say the epistasis are correct. Okay, so the gene which masks or suppress the effect of other gene, that is epistatic gene. So epistatic gene is the gene which masks effect of other gene, and the gene whose effect is being masked, that is known as hypostatic gene. That is gene whose effect is being masked. And for this, if we talk about epistasis, it is of two types. See, epistatic gene can be dominant or hypostasis. So based on this is of two types, that is dominant epistasis and recessive epistasis. First, we are going to talk about dominant epistasis. So what do you mean by dominant epistatic? Dominant epistasis means epistatic gene when it is dominant and mask effect of another gene, then we can call it as epistatic gene. Okay. So dominant epistasis. Now in dominant epistasis, if we talk, we are going to take a character, that is character which we are going to take, that is fruit color in Cucurbita pepo. Cucurbita pepo is nothing but summer squash, and it has three fruit colors. One is white, one is yellow, and one is green. And for these two genes are responsible. Gene 1, that is W, and gene 2, that is Y. W is epistatic gene and Y is hypostatic gene. So W gene masks the effect of Y gene. So if you want to understand it, look here in the cross. Parents are taken, that is WW and YY, because W is suppressing the effect of Y. Because of this, it is producing itself, that is white flower fruit color. Then WW small y means W gene is a recessive form, means Y gene is capable of expression. So if it is capital Y, then it will produce a yellow. But here it is a small y, then it is going to produce a recessive trait of Y gene, that is a green. The gametes are WY, small y, and a hybrid which is produced, that is capital W, small w, capital Y, small y. Here also W masks the effect of capital Y. So here hybrid Y is of 2. And here if we perform a selfing of this F1 generation, then the F2 generation is going to be produced. Here it is F2 generation. And if F2 generation, you will see the cross like this. The gametes of one W capital W small y, W capital Y small y is this one, capital W y, capital small y, W small y, small w capital Y, small w small y. And same gametes are produced here. When we make a cross of this, like a Punnett square, making a cross of this one with all these 4 gametes, then second one with the 4 gametes, third one with the all 4 gametes, and fourth one with all the 4 gametes, then this 4 project will be obtained. Now look here, one of the important things. When there is a capital Y and with that the small w is there, means W gene is the recessive form, then the gene trait of Y is not being masked and the expression occur of Y gene and it is produced a yellow color. Same way here also, when the Y is in dominant form without the epistatic gene in the dominant form, when epistatic gene is recessive and Y gene is expressing, that is also produced yellow. Here also it is going to be produced yellow. But when the Y gene get recessive, it is going to produce green. But along with the Y gene, either it is capital Y or small y, when the W gene comes, that is going to produce the Y because it masks the effect of capital Y or small y. So these all are going to be white. Why? Because W gene is dominant in front. So because of this, why W gene in its dominant form suppressing the expression of the Y gene, because of this it is known as dominant epistasis. And here 12 white are produced, 3 yellow are produced, and 1 green is produced. So here the phenotypic ratio of dominant epistasis is 12 is to 3 is to 1. Okay, so that is the thing. I hope you understand here that the gene, when in its dominant form, suppress the effect of a recessive gene, another gene that is known as dominant epistasis. Now we are going to understand another one, that is a recessive epistasis. In a recessive epistasis, gene in its recessive form suppress the expression of another gene. So what it is? One gene in its recessive form mask or suppress the effect of another gene, then it is known as recessive epistasis. To understand recessive epistasis, we are going to take an example, that is a coat color in mice. When we see coat color in mice, we'll see that coat color can be agouti, black, or albino. So what for this? If raw material is there, then to convert it into black color, there is a need of enzyme B. And to convert a black color into agouti, there is a need of enzyme A. Enzyme B is produced by gene B, and enzyme A is produced by gene A. So when gene A is in capital form, then A enzyme will be produced. When it is in recessive form, no enzyme will be produced. And in same enzyme B also, when gene B is functional in dominant form, then the enzyme will be produced. If it is a small b, then no enzyme will be produced. Okay, so here in recessive epistasis, the gene A and B are there. Okay, and if we make a cross here, okay, so to understand this, let's see the cross. Here you can see this is a cross, which is explaining the recessive epistasis. See, here the colored phenotype, okay, and albino and agouti will be obtained. Colored occur when C is in its dominant form. Okay. Here, if you understand, A gene is actually a hypostatic gene, and C gene is epistatic. Why? Because see, here C is in dominant form, so it is not going to be epistatic. So when A is in its dominant form, okay, it is going to produce agouti. In A condition, when in A gene, it is in either capital A form and capital A small a form along with the dominant C, then it is going to be produced agouti. But when it is going to be small a along with the capital C and this one, then it is going to produce a what? Colored, that is a cinnamon. Okay. But when the C gene becomes recessive along with capital A or capital A or small a, then it is going to be albino. That is fair. So see here, C is dominant, A is dominant. This selfing is done when agouti selfing is done. So A is producing agouti. Here also capital because C dominant, so capital A produce agouti. C dominant, capital A produce agouti. C dominant, capital A produce agouti. Here also agouti. Here agouti because capital C is dominant and A is producing agouti. But when A get recessive, then it is going to produce along with the dominant C, that is produces cinnamon or color. But when along with capital A, capital A small a, or capital A small a, the C become recessive, then the expression of A get reduced and they become a fair, that is what albino. So because of this, here C is a recessive gene and C in its recessive form acting as an epistatic gene. Because of this, we call it as a recessive epistasis. So here phenotypic ratio which is obtained, that is of 9 of agouti, 3 of colored and 4 of albino. Okay, so that is the thing which is obtained here. Okay, so this is recessive epistasis. Now, after understanding of the recessive epistasis, next we are going to understand another type of gene interaction, and that is collaborative gene interaction. Now, if we understand this collaborative gene interaction, then here collaboration is going to be occur, and for this, the character which we are going to take to understand this collaborative gene interaction, that is a comb shape of comb morphologies in the chickens. And when we see the comb shape in chickens, you will see that the four shape appear in the chicken of comb. This type of comb shape if appear, then it is known as a rose shape. If this type of comb shape will appear, then it is known as pea shape. This type of comb shape will appear, then it is walnut. And this shape is a single. When P is here, two gene are involved, P and R. If P is in dominant form, that is on homozygous or heterozygous, and along with the recessive R, then P is going to produce a P comb shape. Same way, when there is a capital R but P is in recessive, then this is going to produce a rose shape. When both come collaboratively or collaborative with each other, then these two genes combinedly produce a walnut. And when both are recessive, then it is going to be produce a single. So where the collaboration is observed here, you can see the collaboration. So inheritance of comb morphology in chickens described by William Bettes and Reginald Punnett in 1906. There is the first example of this gene interaction. And now if you make a cross of this, then you will see that we take a parent to parent, one having a rose, so genotype is capital R, small p. And if we take a P plant comb, then it is a small r, capital P, it is a parental generation. Okay, now if we make these words are of actually no importance, the gametes will be produced and F1 generation will be produced, that is capital R, small p, collaboration will occur and all will be all. When we perform a selfing of capital R, capital P, small p with the capital R, capital P, small p, then F2 generation is going to be produced and the gametes are this one. Capital R, capital P, capital R, small p, small r, capital P, small r, small p. And the same type of four gametes are going to be produced here. When this RP combined with all these four, this capital RP combined with all four, small r capital P with all four, and the small p with all four, this 16 combination will be observed. Out of 16 combination, you will see when capital R, capital B both are combined, then collaboration will occur and then produce a walnut. See here, both these all are producing the walnut. But when R is dominant in P is recessive, that is going to be produced a reverse. When R is recessive and P is dominant, that is going to be produced P. And when all are recessive, that is going to be single. So F2 generation consisted of chickens with 4 types of comb, 9:3:3:3:1 ratio. 9 are walnut, 3 are rose, 3 are P, and 1 is single. And walnut showing the collaboration. So Peterson and Punnett reasoned that comb morphology determine 2 different genes. Okay, so this way you can see. Now you will say, so this is a 9:3:3:1 ratio, which is a phenotypic ratio of dihybrid cross as well. Yes, but in dihybrid cross, two different characters. Here two gene, only one character are interacting. So because of this, it is kept in a two gene interaction. Okay, I hope you understood this. After this, we are going to understand a next one, that is a polymeric gene interaction. Okay, so let's talk about the another gene interaction, that is the polymeric gene interaction. Now polymeric here. Okay, so we will understand what it means by taking an example. An example which we are taking to understand this polymeric gene interaction is the fruit shape in cucurbits. Okay. Now, if we take a fruit shape in cucurbits, then three shapes are seen. One is spherical, one is disc-like, that is known as discoid, and another one is the cylindrical. Now, it is known that it is polymeric interaction because both S2 genes are here, that are gene S and gene D. This both S and gene D in their dominant form code for the what? A spherical shape. This D gene also code for a spherical shape in their dominant form. But in a recessive form, that is going to be cylindrical. So spherical will be obtained when there is a capital S or capital S small s. When there is a capital D or capital D small d, then there is going to be a spherical. But when if when S is dominant or G is recessive, then it is spherical. When S is recessive and D is dominant, then spherical. When both S and D are in dominant, means here this space means either you write capital S or small s, here also capital D or small d. If you take capital S, capital S, capital D, capital S, small s, capital D, capital S, small s, capital D, small d, capital S, small s, capital D, small d. Like this, you can take anything here and make several combinations. Then they will produce a discoid. And if there is a small s, small s, small d, this is then it is going to be produce a cylindrical. So we can identify a ratio by making a cross. So make a cross. So for cross, we take a F1 generation. In F1 generation, we are taking a discoid, that is capital S, capital S, capital D, capital D, and making a cross of it with the smallest, 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 d, small d, that is cylindrical fruit shape. Now, when we make a cross of this, the S and D gamete are going to be produced here. Small s and small d gamete are going to be produced when we make a cross. So this is a parental generation. This is not F1. This is parental generation. These are the gamete. Here, capital S, capital D, small d will be obtained. That is the F1 generation, and this is both genes are dominant, so it is going to be a discoid. Now we make a selfing of this one. So the F2 generation will be produced. So capital S, capital S, D, small d crosses with the capital S, and capital D, small d. Then the F2 generation will be obtained. And if you draw the F2 generation, then you will see that So if we write all the particular gametes in proper way, we write a male gamete here, capital S, capital D, capital S, small s, capital D, small d, and if we put same gamete here, then the gamete are going to be capital S, capital D, that is a female gamete, the same genotype plant. Then the genotype of offspring in F2 generation is capital S, capital S, capital D, capital D, capital S, capital S, capital D, small d, capital S, small s, capital D, capital D, capital S, small s, capital D, small d. So capital S, small s, capital D, small d, capital S, small s, capital D, small d. Here, capital S, capital S, capital D, small d, capital S, small s, capital D, capital D. Here, capital S, small d, small d. Here, small s, capital D when we make a cross. Here, capital S, small s, small d, small s, capital D, small d, capital S, small s, small d, small s, capital D, small d, and small d. Now, if we write a phenotype, when both are dominant, it is going to be discoid. So this is going to be discoid. Why? Because both genes are in dominant form, that is S and D. So this is show the additive effect or polymeric effect. Why? Because when only capital S is dominant, then this is cylindrical, it is spherical. When it is capital S is dominant, spherical. When only capital D is dominant in S, then also it is spherical. But when both are recessive, then it is cylindrical. So if we talk about a phenotypic ratio of this for the discoid H2, spherical H2, cylindrical, then discoid are 9, 6 are spherical and 1 is cylindrical. So 9 is to 6 is to 1 is the phenotypic ratio of the F2 generation in the additive regional polymeric chain interaction. So why it is polymetric? Because S and D both are separately affecting the trait that is a spherical shape of fruit. But when both are combinedly show the additive effect, then it is going to be discoid. Okay. When both are recessive, then it is cylindrical. So in discoid, the additive effect of polypheric chain interaction is same. After this, next we are going to talk about a inhibitory gene interaction. In inhibitory gene interaction, one gene act as a inhibitory and inhibit the effect of all other genes. Okay. So that is also can be understood by the example. And if we take an example for inhibitory gene interaction here, then it is a leaf color in rice. Now, if we take an example of leaf color can be purple and green. Okay. Now here gene P is there. When gene P is in dominant form, in homozygous or heterozygous condition, it is going to produce a purple. But when it is in recessive form, it is going to produce a green. But when along with gene P, gene I come, gene I inhibit the effect of all these gene. Okay. Along with all gene, And when capital I gene is present along with this one, then you can see what condition will be obtained. Capital P, capital P, capital I, capital I, small I, capital P, small p, or capital I, small I, or capital I, small p, small p. In all this condition, it is going to produce a green product because it inhibited the effect of gene P. So if you make a cross for this, then we can take a green plant, parent generation. That is capital I, capital I, capital B, capital P with the small I, small I, small p, small p. If capital I is there, I is inhibitory gene which is inhibiting the effect of P gene, so it is going to be having a green phenotype. And here small I, small I, small p, small p, small p, small p, in presence of inhibitory gene is not inhibiting this, but small p will be going for again a green. It is produced a gamete IP. It is going to produce a small I and small p gamete. When we make a cross of this two and make a F2 generation, then capital I, small I, capital P, small p will be produced. This is the particularly we can say a green phenotype. And this green phenotype is obtained in the F1 generation. After this, the selfing is done for F2 generation. So when capital I, small I, capital P, small p crosses with the capital I, small I, capital P, small p, the F2 generation is going to be produced. So if you make a cross of this two, if we take this one as a male and this as a female, and we take the gametes of these two plants and make a cross, then F2 generation will be obtained. So let's see how F2 generation will be obtained. If we write male gamete here and female gamete here in F2 generation, then the gametes are going to be capital I, capital P, capital I, small I, capital P, and small I, small p. The same gamete are going to be here. The offspring of F2 are going to be capital I, capital P, capital P, capital P, capital I, capital P, small p, capital I, small I, capital P, capital I, small I, capital P, small p. And same is going to be here. Here also it is going to be capital I, capital P, small p, capital I, capital Y, small p, capital I, small p, small p. Okay. Here capital I, small I, capital P, small I, capital P, small I, capital P, small p, small I, capital P, small p, capital I, small p, small p, small p, small p. See, here I is inhibitor to all, so here that is going to be green. Wherever the gene capital I is present, you will write green. And the small I is there, capital P is able to produce its purple color. This small I, it is going to produce purple color. Here also you will see the purple color of P gene. But here small p, so this is going to be again green. So if we talk about a phenotypic ratio of inhibitory gene interaction, then it is of green is to purple. That is going to be 13 is to 3 because these three are purple, the remaining all 13 are green. So 13 is to 3, where the I gene is inhibited to the what? Or P gene. Okay. So like this all are the two gene interaction which we have studied, where how two genes show the interaction and how the ratio are changed from 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1 in F2 generation that have been said. And here we have studied already complementary gene, duplicate gene, supplementary gene, dominant epistasis, recessive epistasis, polymeric gene, and additive gene. Now, in next class, we will deal, these are two gene interaction. In next class, we will discuss that multiple gene are there, which are affecting only single character, and that is known as polygenic inheritance. That we will discuss in a separate class. Okay, till that, thank you.